just going to stand here next to the car. Seems today these hippos are a little bit shy. Yesterday we came in, they were a bit more playful, but now it seems they're going to leave us, or leave towards the other side of the waterhole. And we can answer a couple of questions. We can let Jan send the first question through. Jan?
Hi Pieter, and the question is from, she wants to know, do you know if any of the birds in the area do mating dance and put themselves on display to attract a mate?
Okay, cool. Well, just repeat that in case you couldn't hear all of it that well, but Lee's asking if any of the birds out here do any mating dances or displays or do certain behavioral things to attract mates. And that's something that most birds do, Lee, pretty much all around in this area. The first one that comes to mind actually is your weaver birds, or your masked weavers, or your spectacled weavers, just because a while back we were looking at some of the nests up here. Their display is that typical thing where the male actually builds that beautiful sort of basket-like green nest, and the male is a bright yellow color, and then he will use that green nest as a backdrop. So he'll use that vivid color of the green and him being yellow, and he'll do a kind of different displays on that. That can vary a little bit from bird to bird, where it might be fluttering in the wings or hanging upside down, making lots of noises, but using that backdrop. And then the rest of them as well. Crested franklins, for instance. Crested franklins. The hippo's sticking their ears out again. Crested franklins don't often show their crest. You don't often actually see the crest, but during certain mating courtships or rituals you would see that. With hornbills, they do a beautiful thing where they lift their wings up very high like that, and they get their heads down and they make a loud noise, and they show the wings off with your yellow-billed and red-billed hornbill. Your grey hornbill does something almost opposite, where he lifts his head high up. They do a whistle. So yeah, most of them do some form or another. I'm thinking of Egyptian geese. Before they have their mate, to get a mate, they have to do a lot of displaying and show the wings off for mating purposes, and also for other territorial purposes. It's also different displays. So I think probably, might be wrong in saying it, but I think probably in your bird life areas where you get the most different displays and things going on. Oh, look at that. Speaking of birds, spotted again, James.
He was here yesterday as well.
It's the same guy, yeah. He looks a little bit scruffy almost. You can see his feathers are a little bit messed up. Let's try. I'm going to try and chase him back quickly. Oh no, he's going now. Come. Let's just strike him. Flown away up into the branch. It's a red-billed hornbill that we saw quite a few times yesterday. So I hope that answers your question. I'm just trying to think of what other there's sound displays as well. If you think of a lot of your songbirds, things like robins for instance, they will actually do sound displays again for territorial behavior, to let other birds know that they're there, but also to impress a female. A male might go through a lot of different songs and show her, I can do all these different notes and all these different songs, and I can copy 30 other different bird sounds. So that shows you that I'm a very intelligent male and I'm well accomplished in this area. So there's a lot of different ways, and your bird life, I think, is probably one of the areas where you see it the most. I mean, mammals also do it. One that jumps to mind is, well, I was thinking a lot of human behaviors, but think for instance of a Nyala bull, and they do that beautiful parlor erection with all their hair and their back stands up. But in your bird kingdom, you really do see that quite a lot. Let's just have another look at a bird there while it's flown back here for us. It's that red-billed hornbill again, and maybe while we look at it, Jan, you can send through the next question.
Yes, Pieter, the question is from Tony, and he says, what is the time of the year when the fewest animals are seen in the Gari area, and how long does that last?
Okay, awesome. That's quite a good question. It's also very prevalent to the time at the moment. Tony, you're just asking what time of the year is the time that we see the least wildlife around Gari waterhole, and how long that would last for. I would say probably the last 2 days has been part of that time. Typically in summertime more so, just because as you're well aware, I'm sure there's a lot more water around. I mean, just this morning you saw there's water everywhere at the moment because it's been raining. But it also means that even if it doesn't rain for a week or two, there's lots of little ponds and pools, and the rivers are fuller, and there's just a lot more water abundantly available to animals. So it means that your smaller animals, and even your smaller herd animals, things like impala, they don't have to go to big waterholes like Buffelshoek behind us here. So it means that there's a lot more water around. So there's less activity around waterholes, even though if it doesn't rain for a few days, you do find more animals coming down to Gari again, just because it's a nice big body of water. And like the lions last night, they did go past that waterhole. It's part of their sort of typical route that they do, part of their routine, part of their habits. But definitely in summertime less so. And in wintertime, as it starts getting drier, you get more and more wildlife. So towards the end of winter, June, but more like July, August, September, that's when it really gets very, very active around the waterhole, as you might remember if you've been joining us since winter time. So that's the first part of the question. The second part is how long it lasts for. Again, you could look at that in different ways. In a sort of a general view, you could say that generally it's quiet for the summer months. So anything from about when the rains come. This year it's come early, so let's say from about November through until March, April, when the rains will start subsiding. So it's for a few months in summer, but that obviously fluctuates within a sort of a smaller time scale as well. So as soon as it gets sunny again and we get a couple of days of hot weather, the waterholes will get busier again, and you will see more things. So typically maybe 1 or 2 days, 3 days when it really is raining a lot and there's literally water everywhere, then the waterholes do get quiet, as you've probably noticed over the last couple of days. Just on that front, we're going to see how the morning goes. If there's enough time and if we can get far enough, there's some buffalo on the very, very far western side of Western Gari. At the moment, even sort of on the boundary or on the limits of our signal area as well. But I just heard the guys on the radio before we stopped just saying that they are heading east. So to link into your question, Tony, that waterhole might get very busy later on today. Hopefully those buffalo will drink there. Just being a big herd, they do still need some big bodies of water. So I hope that answers your question, and I hope that little short micro time spell of inactivity is going to end and we're going to have some good wildlife around Gari waterhole the next few days. Next question, Jan?
Yes, I actually have some similar questions, one from Sandy and one Marsha asking about giraffes. Apparently they have good eyesight. Is that true?
And asking there about giraffes' eyesight. I'm going to answer that for too long, but yes, they have very good eyesight. To be honest with you, I wouldn't say necessarily better than, say, a kudu or an impala maybe, but they do have very, very good eyesight. Obviously, being still big male giraffe to be 4 meters in height, that's about, what's that in feet? 14, 15 feet. So it's tall, so it does give him that advantage of the fact that he can stand up there and look down into the bush, and that also is why you often find different animals hanging together. You'll often see maybe giraffe and zebra, sometimes share the similar habitats of giraffe, kudu and impala, just all these different animals, all with good eyesight, but they all have a slightly different view on things, and maybe the giraffe can spot something further away than the impala could. Maybe the impala can see something through the bushes the giraffe could. So in a way, those animals all help each other to stay vigilant and alert as well. But very good eyesight. I would say probably not that much better, but quite a bit better than a human with perfect 20/20 eyesight. In the same range, maybe slightly better than that. I think maybe let's do one question or so still, and then I'm quite keen to hit the road, see if we can maybe get those buffalo if they get close enough for us to see. Jan, what's the next one?